We're rolling.
Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Nerdbuzzed!
Nerdbuzzed doesn't condone the consumption of alcohol by any persons under the age of 21. Please drink responsibly.
Welcome to Nerdbuzzed, the podcast where we talk about all the nerdy stuff that we care about and drink a cool frosty brew while we're doing it. I'm your host, Marcus Ellinger. With me as always,
Jeremiah Johnson.
And back in the Nerd Room for second appearance,
Gabriel Staley.
thanks for joining us, Gabe.
Thank you for
Gabriel,
having me.
sorry.
Well,
Can I call you Gabe?
you can.
Okay.
You can. I do that all the time. I will call myself by my full name, and then everybody like, please, can I just shorten that up for you? And I'm yes, you can for sure shorten the name up. I will always call myself Gabriel, and everybody will always ask.
I always firmly go by Marcus.
And can I call you Mark?
No.
No, I see. That does not work.
No. So, before we distract ourselves too much more, Jay, will you tell us about the beer we're drinking, please?
Yes, I got this one for you specifically because I did not want an IPA, and I
thought
figured...
all the beer you got was for me.
Yeah, right. Anyway, it's. I know you like the New Belgium Tripel a lot, so I figured might go with a different Tripel or triple or whatever you want to call it. This is the La Fin du Monde from Unibrow. In Canada.
Yeah. I like the, I think it's funny it's unibrow.
Yeah,
totally. I would like to see a unicorn with a unibrow. That has to be out there. I bet Canadian unicorns have unibrows.
Sounds
Is
like
that what it is?
something that Deadpool would have. With a unicorn with a
With a unibrow,
Right.
right? Totally,
Yeah.
totally. I like this very flamboyant
Metal lid.
foil label
Yeah.
lid thing it's got. That's pretty awesome.
Foil seal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It smells like a Tripel.
It does. It's very, very spicy.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Christmas spices.
Yeah.
And then very, very sweet smelling. Very, very strong in the malt smell. It's got a very intense, thick, creamy head.
Yes.
Which is...
Like triple head.
Yeah.
And it's got like triple potency because it's also 9%.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
where is it on here?
Squinted
It's,
there.
9%, right? Dead center of the freaking label on the front.
Yeah.
Oh.
They're not being shy about it.
No.
So far, nothing about this is really being very shy.
No.
Well, should we try it? I'm dying to try it.
Yeah, and these cups are awesome, by the way.
Thanks.
I got that. What is this?
They're crafted by my hand. That was my cousin's, and then when he moved out, he forgot to take his glass.
Wow.
I know. I'm offended by it. I hope he hears this and realizes how I'm still holding a grudge.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Didn't take his snowman with him.
Right?
Something like that? Green?
Sure. It's Seahawk colors. He was big Seahawk fan.
Oh, well, yeah. He really missed out.
So anyway.
So there it is over there. Don't mess it up, Gabe. We'll
Oh,
start. Ready?
Yeah.
To all the nerds, through all the fuzz, bottoms up, let's get nerd buzzed.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, that
Then we share the love, including some holly fuzz on my glass.
Hey, I like this.
It's crisper than I expected it to be.
It is.
It's kind of citrusy.
But boy, does it ever linger with the sweet.
It is, yes. And it is super spicy. That's every Tripel I've had has kind of been that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's
And
something I'm not
Christmas time, I think, is a good way to kind of sum it up.
That's something I'm not too fond of, though, is the spices, so.
Yeah, it's a beer I enjoy, but I don't want to have it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I used to have it all the time, though.
Well, that's because it was a good deal, and it had some kick butt numbers, and I didn't mind it, right? And now, since then, it's not a good deal at all. Like, the price of beer is absurd.
I know, and it's like in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Just gone right through the
I've been
roof.
trying to find, I'm running low on my beer fridges, or my fridge beers, and I keep looking at the store. I think the cheapest I saw was like $20.
Yeah.
It's like $18.99 maybe.
That's
for
40
a
bucks.
12
$40
pack.
for a full rack of beer.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah.
People need to slow down on their beer drinking, or maybe that. I don't know what'll make it better.
Like an hour's wages won't even buy a full case of beer.
No,
Like more
It's
local
ridiculous.
breweries might maybe get better. If we had more local...
Well, we've got tons of local breweries, but you don't find them on the shelves or anywhere.
Yeah.
You have to go to
that's
them
the problem.
directly.
well,
But
it's craft beer, I think.
And you
They're
still have
getting
to-
fancier with that name.
yeah, but even your cheap beers are getting expensive.
Yes.
So
Yeah, it's a tough world out there.
it really is.
Really is. They're making it really hard for me to maintain my drinking habit
Well, the
and
cheap beer
still
is
include all
becoming-
my other habits.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to
Yeah.
start picking.
Oh, yep.
Yeah.
So today, before we get too much further, as always, we like to promote our favorite podcast, which is of course our own.
Yeah.
So please, if you're watching, hit subscribe, mash that subscribe button, tell your friends to do the same thing. Comment, ask us any nerdy thing you want. We love hearing from our nerd fans. We have to give a big shout out to Dad because he's been such a loyal listener
Yes,
and
he
our
has.
biggest fan in the world. So thank you, Dad, for listening. And of course, go to nerdbuzzed.com where you can watch or listen to any episode totally free, 100%, as opposed to
Any other percent.
that's right. So on today's show, we're going to talk about Venom. 'Cause we
the
went and saw
greatest
Venom
movie
together,
ever.
right? Yes, the best movie ever. The best money well spent. I'm so glad I didn't buy more beer. And before we dive into Venom, we're not going to do a nerd play this month because we're just going to be super hyped for Red Dead. And I'm not. It's ridiculous to assume I can fit another.
Oh yeah,
game
that was
in.
like Josh posted on the
Facebook.
on the the Nerdbuzzed Nerds.
Yeah.
He posted on the Nerdbuzzed Nerds for the Daredevil season 3. And I'm like, yeah, too bad I'm only gonna have a week to watch it.
Yeah. I know. Did you ever get a chance to watch that trailer?
Yes, I did. I watched it like about an hour after I talked to you.
Nice. Fisk is back. I'm
Yes.
so stoked about that. I really am. He was missing. Do you watch Daredevil? Netflix Daredevil?
I haven't gotten into it yet. I just...
Should we jump right into another reason why we're going to be just all over your case through this whole episode?
Yeah.
So glad
Yeah,
you joined.
we might as well. Just let's go right into it.
Well, let's talk about Venom. First reactions. You have to say something nice about it.
Yes.
What can you say nice about Venom?
The banter was good. I enjoyed the banter between him and Venom.
Yeah, between Eddie and Venom.
Yeah.
I already said my one good thing, which I put out there on the Twitter space. I do think it is the best looking live action Venom we've ever had.
That's not saying much.
But but it looks like Venom. There are some cool moments where it is very much that like comic book vibed Venom, and I did enjoy those brief and far between moments, but they were good.
Yeah.
I have not read the comics, but it did actually spur me to want to read the comics actually,
Oh.
Yeah,
because it seemed so absurd.
yeah, and it is kind of absurd in the comics too.
Yeah.
Well, I just enjoyed the movie altogether.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, so
I have lots of good things. to
yeah,
say.
I don't have anything negative to say about the movie.
Okay,
I
so
did.
now it's reversed for you because
Yep.
you came away enjoying it.
I do enjoy it.
What would be the one negative thing you might have?
Now,
to say?
see, I have to come up with the one negative thing.
Yeah.
And I
I'm just gonna fix this for you a little bit. There you
please. All right. Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
go. Doing good. What's
Thank
your
you.
one negative thing?
Anyway, so I and Jeremiah and I were talking a little bit about this, and I think maybe I think there was some knuckle dragging moments in the movie where, if you think about it, it's like, well, Venom doesn't really explain why he switches sides so quickly. And I agree with Jeremiah on this. He goes from oh, I want to take over the world to I like you.
With little explanation.
With little exactly
By the way, spoilers.
little to no explanation as to
There's gonna be
why.
spoilers here, so just be warned.
Yeah.
To be fair, we're not spoiling much, so it's fine. I think maybe kind of on that note, I think that one of the biggest struggles the movie had was a real lack of like clear direction. Like it just kind of had that vibe through the whole thing. Like especially in the beginning, I felt like I was being bombarded with everything that was happening so quickly and so briefly, but at the same time, it felt like it took forever to get to a point.
Yeah.
Right? Which is weird, and I don't, like, it's kind of crazy they pulled that off. I don't really understand what the hell happened there, but I kept thinking, will you hurry it up? But at the same time, I was like, but will you slow down and explain a little bit more at the same time? Like, what the hell's happening here? It was very just, all of a sudden, you were just getting slammed in the face over and over with these crazy quick things.
Like they didn't know which thing to really touch on the most, and they maybe touched on the wrong things the most.
It just felt so slow at the beginning.
Yeah,
And then the end was just so Michael Bay fast.
Yeah, but even in the beginning, it was like things were happening so quick. Like it was instantly 6 months later.
Oh yeah,
and like we didn't get any notes, nothing to explain what happened during those 6 months. We were just instantly assumed. And so there were so many things in the movie that were left to us to kind of just figure out as an audience, which I like about a movie. But then they would do all the classic stuff where anytime the Venom, or the symbiote, as they say in the movie, was transferred to someone, that person would always turn to the camera and then their eyelids would do the like with the Venom thing. And I was like, oh, well, now you're painting a clear picture for me as the audience. Like, pick a method, will you?
Yeah.
It was like so disjointed. I was really struggling with that through it.
Yeah, that was to try to figure out whether the symbiote was actually in the person or not.
I almost got the impression that Venom was like the outcast of the symbiotes.
Yes.
Yeah,
Did you get that vibe?
He directly said that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like he also didn't like them, and they weren't into him either. So that's kind of where they agreed, I guess, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. It was weird for me.
Well, everything that I thought that I understood about the comics was not represented there. So it's like, that's why I want to read the comics.
Yeah.
Because everything I was watching go on there, it's like, that's not what I think Venom does. That's not how I think it works.
Yeah, well, it was close. It's weird to have Venom without Spider-Man, clearly, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's no white spider on him. He doesn't have webs of any kind. Like, he's not directly tied to Spider-Man in any sort of way in this movie, which is kind of a big deal there. Other than like some of the side characters, like you do hear about Jameson, who's in there, and his son even, who was in there, and like those are part of the Spider-Man world also. But it's hard to do it, especially to make it true to a comic book without having Spider-Man in there. I guess when you consider that, they did okay.
Does Sony not still own Spider-Man though?
Yeah, but he's like on loan, right, to the MCU.
So they can't even reference him then. Well, then
I don't know what the actual
the
guidelines are on that. What they're allowed to do and what they're not allowed to do. As far as I know, Sony still owns Spider-Man, but the MCU gets to use him at least for this next solo movie, plus the Avengers, right? He gets to be in that. So I don't know if they can't use him until that part is done at least, or what. I don't know.
Another thing that I was thinking of is, remember Fox and the Fantastic Fours?
Yeah.
This kind of had a feeling like that where, because the Fantastic Fours, they would lose the property if they didn't make a movie every so often.
Yeah.
And I think there's actually 2 Fantastic Four movies that haven't even ever been released. They just made them to fulfill their requirement to make a movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh.
And based on the ones that have been released, I'm kind of glad they probably didn't release them. But
yeah.
But I just think, I wonder if it has that kind of feel. Like, will Sony lose their property if they don't actually use it? And that's why they just pumped this out.
Maybe. But they have this big overarching thing they want to do with the villains, is what Sony really seems to be striving for. Like, I know they're... because what else are they working on? They're working on a Kraven movie. The Hunter, right, who's another Spider-Man villain. They were working on a Sinister Six that was going to be a movie. Like, they're really going this kind of villain route with it all. And I know that Tom Hardy is signed up for 3 Venom movies.
Okay.
So this is only the first one.
Well, that sounds cool. So they're going to start doing backstories on villains.
I guess so, yeah, where they'll kind of come up and do their thing, right?
Well, that sounds
kind of
pretty neat.
It's kind of similar to like a DC thing. Like, that's kind of the route that they've sort of gone a little bit too. Is really kind of emphasizing their villains more.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, at least was early on, a problem with the MCU.
Yeah, I agree.
But I think it's gotten a lot better.
Yeah, I feel like Venom. I mean, I think a lot of people have already said it, but it feels like one of those superhero movies from the Tobey Maguire like Spider-Man kind of era, like from that '90s, early 2000s era. It has that kind of feel to it. It has a lot of the same kind of issues that those movies have. One of the biggest parts in this movie is that I had an issue with. Again, it shows this like weird plot hole issues that it had through the whole thing. Was towards the end of the movie. Again, spoiler alerts. When the rocket explodes and Venom even has his like Batman goodbye, right? Like goodbye, Eddie.
Yeah.
And Eddie falls off, and it seems like they're not together. And then suddenly, the very next scene, he's talking to his ex-wife, and he's just back, right? Like they don't explain why that never came up after that. Yeah, it was.
How the relationship get back together?
Yeah, there were so many weird moments like that in it, and I thought his relationship with I guess his ex-fiancée was really weird too. The way they were so like back and forth and like we're cool, but now we're not cool. And like
there's just so many backstories that they try to make a backstory for Venom, but then there's so many other backstories. The relationships that are occurring, and you just don't get them. Yeah. That movie needs to be 3 hours longer.
I guess, or at least, movies. I almost got caveats, like a Netflix series vibe, sort of. Like
That's a good way of putting it.
It would have been great if it would have been broken out into a series.
It would have been easy to do it, breaking it out in a series, because nobody cares if you have that one episode that's just the girlfriend episode.
Yeah, and I even heard, I think Michelle Williams, I think that's her name. I recognized her from Dawson's Creek. Because my wife's been going back and watching all these old, terrible, like 90s TV shows, right? Which is also fitting for the vibe of this movie. All right. But I had read that they were really excited to have her be in the movie as the like love interest, and that she wouldn't do it until she found out that she got to have the symbiote on her. In that scene, she was like, "Oh, okay, cool. Like a deeper character, I can dive into this like dual identity type thing." And I'd read this whole article and I was like, oh, so that's gonna happen, right? That was like maybe 10 seconds of the movie, like at the most.
It was cool, but it wasn't as cool enough. Like if the symbiote had passed between both of them like a couple more times during the movie,
like they would have utilized that, right? Yeah,
couple more times during the movie, that would have been even cooler.
If that would have happened, it would have ended with her being like pregnant with a little symbiote baby. That's the only way that could have ended up then, right?
Dude,
have a little threesome with Venom.
Would it be a threesome or a foursome? Because then Venom would know. Yeah, it would be a threesome, but then it'd be knowing both. That would be a little strange, but okay.
Something to dive into more in another show.
Yeah.
I had Gary ask me. He was like, so, I've got to deal with dragging the kids to the theater and all this and that, and, like, it's going to cost me a fortune to take my family to see it. Is it worth it for me to do all that? I was like,
your brother literally said he almost fell asleep at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah. And he looked like he was going to fall asleep.
Yeah.
And his son was super bummed he didn't get to go with us all to see it, too.
Yeah.
Which I don't know. I don't know if it's very PG-13.
No,
not for a younger crowd. It's more for an adult.
They're cursing a lot in it.
I was surprised by that.
And they're actually beheading people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it 8 times? Something like that we counted them?
Well, you said you'd counted it 6, and then like within a minute there was 2 more times saying shit, and then immediately following that it was F-bomb.
Yeah. Which I was really surprised at. I thought there was like a limit to how much you could swear in PG-13. I guess maybe they were like, nope, it has to be PG-13. They're like, all right, if we can't show blood and guts, we're just gonna drop S-bombs and F-bombs left and right if we can.
Yeah, I mean, cool movie, but there's a lot of stuff in there for adults. But I don't know that there's a whole lot of stuff in for kids just to watch Venom, get shot.
The CG stuff.
Yeah, that
I think as far as the CGI goes, it was okay. It kind of reminded me of that, like, Not the first Hulk movie, but the first one in the MCU. It kind of had that really rough around the edges CGI.
Sorry, not this about the rough around the edges CGI, but I just popped in my head is the remember the Flight of the Navigator?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The whole I want to get up the building. Compliance.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That was what was going through my head. Like just now, I was like, oh my god, that totally brought me back. So we just make Pee Wee Herman the freaking Venom suit, and we're fine. Compliance.
Yeah.
No, this time it was Batman.
Yeah, he totally sounded like Batman.
Yeah.
I still am not a huge fan of Tom Hardy. I don't understand it. He's fine, I guess, but he was so weirdly, I don't know, like sheepish kind of through the whole movie.
Yeah, he was.
Like, I didn't really get that through the whole thing.
Right?
Yeah.
He started out strong, and then he got kind of weak.
Yeah.
He was supposed to... was he supposed to be kind of a loser in the beginning and stay that way? It just...
His motivations were weird, and
he started out really strong, and then it changed, and I think there was a reason
during that 6-month period, which they gave us the initial shock, right? Like he clearly made terrible relationship decisions there when he read his fiance's emails, right, and then exposed all that stuff. Like that was just dumb thinking, and then he got fired, and it all started spiraling. Yeah. But then again, we got hit with the 6 months later. He's super depressed, right? Yeah. And that was about it. But I would agree though that some of their banter between the suit and between Venom and Eddie, it was entertaining. Mm-hmm. I did enjoy that part of it. Mm-hmm. The way, because Venom almost pulled him out of that slump.
Oh yeah,
right?
Totally.
Which it took the movie. That was one thing that seemed cohesive through the movie. As the movie progressed, Venom did pull Eddie out of that slump, right? And they came to their understanding of how they could coexist with each other. That was the best part of the movie.
I'm not going to do that. Yes, you are.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I think it's a tough call on whether or not I would say, yeah, go take your whole family to go see this movie. I think it depends on the age of your kids, for sure.
I think there's probably better movies to spend your money on
to
go see as a family, and then rent this one.
Yeah.
I don't think this one's going to lose anything by seeing it at home.
Yeah, I don't, and I also don't think this is the awesome starting point that Sony was hoping for their villain Spider-Verse that they're trying to go for. I don't know that this achieved what they were really looking for.
No, but do you think it's an entirely sinking ship, though, that they need to abandon?
I don't know. I was actually talking with Gary.
Because I don't think it is, personally.
No, I don't think it was that bad. And again, I'm okay with superhero movies not always trying to emulate the MCU, right? Mm-hmm. I think what the MCU did is awesome, and I want them to keep doing it, but I don't think that means that every other superhero franchise out there needs to try to emulate that formula. It's okay to do your own thing, right? And you're going to stumble along the way. I think the MCU has done that also. Mm-hmm. So that's okay, and I'm totally on board with that. But I think it's tricky, because I think that's what all the fans want, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know, it's really tough. I think I'm in the boat of you can just wait.
Yeah, that's what I'm in.
It's fine. Just wait. You can watch it on video. It'll be way cheaper. Do you think it would have been better if they would have maybe capitalized on the October release a little more and kind of gone a little more with a horror vibe with it? I kept wanting it to did as I was watching.
I didn't think about that, but that makes perfect sense.
That would make sense.
Yeah. A little bit more of a horror movie.
Closer
with shock stuff and jump scares a little more and that kind of thing in there.
Yeah, because they totally could have done that.
And they didn't really go that route as much as especially with October. I kept thinking.
Yeah. They had a couple attempts at jump scares.
Attempts that could have been really good.
Yeah.
But were weak.
Maybe if I think about it, I almost think this is on par with Ghost Rider. Do you remember the Ghost Rider movies?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I didn't. Ghost Rider got a lot of grief from everybody. They just didn't really care for it. But to be honest with you, I don't totally hate that movie. Right? I think Ghost Rider, it's fine. Right. It's not my favorite superhero movie by any means, but I didn't really hate it. And I think it has a lot of the weird loophole-y kind of things that this movie did.
Sort of hands you an ethical problem to think about for a while, right? And so, yeah, they both do that. Ghost Rider's kind of this negative positive, and so is this Venom. character, you get the negative, positive stuff.
Yeah.
Where they're just kind of working it out. They'll figure it out, at some point. But they're still riding that line. Where do we stand? Are we good? Are we bad?
Yeah. And even had the weird, like, love interest kind of interaction that was that same way. And I after we left and when I was driving home, I really started to think that. Yeah, that it's kind of like that Ghost Rider movie. And right after, when I was still talking with Gary, we were talking about just how there's been more and more of those superhero. We kind of talked about it in the last show too, where they seem to be a little more formulaic than they were, and they're starting to kind of get that vibe back of all the things that are going on. And if it keeps going that route, I'm curious to see how much the DC movies will like grow as far as how much I like them. Because I think I might start liking these DC movies more and more. Like, again, I've said it a million times, I don't hate Justice League. Like, I thought it was a fun movie to watch, and it's great. I don't mind it at all. I've seen it too many times, right? I'm wondering if they keep going down that route, my big question is, do you think that BVS could end up being that Tokyo Drift of the DC universe?
No.
No? You don't think so? Not for you.
BVS will never make it to that.
It'll never be Tokyo Drift status.
No, but...
You don't even like Tokyo Drift, do you?
No, I liked Tokyo Drift.
Okay.
I liked Tokyo Drift when it came out.
Nice.
One of the few.
Yeah.
I didn't like their choice for the lead actor. I don't know, he just seemed weak to me, but...
Yeah. Kind of like Tom Hardy.
Yeah.
Yeah. maybe Venom will be the Tokyo Drift.
There you
We'll
go.
all come around and love Venom, right? Well, if you have to put a score on Venom, what do you think? Oh, God.
Boy.
A score.
I'm not going to say it's better than okay.
That's where I'm at, too. I'm like, I think it's a solid 5.
Yeah.
I think it's just okay.
Yeah.
It had some moments that were great. You have to sit through a lot of weird, convoluted storytelling to get there.
Yes.
But those few moments in it were great, and I did enjoy them.
Mm-hmm.
But we looked at each other and just kind of like looked back at the screen and laughed.
Yeah.
Like multiple times because it was that ridiculous.
It's been a long time since I've laughed at a movie that much.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to watch it Marcus style and chuckle at the movie. It was awesome.
I agree, though.
What do you think, Gabriel?
I totally agree. It's a 5.
Really?
Yeah,
and even though I like that we came from, we didn't like it, and you came out saying, I didn't hate it.
We agree on so many different points about the movie, and I still think it's a 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't take my kids to it, and I wouldn't suggest anybody else do it the same thing. It might be okay to take your girlfriend to, but
especially if you're gonna like make out through 2/3 of it.
yeah, if you do that, for sure,
this is the perfect movie for you because every time you stop, you'll be fully caught up in 2 seconds.
Yeah, yeah, and then you dive right back in again. It's perfect. Yes, that would be the make-out movie.
Yes, right.
Yes, just enough suspense and romance right in there to take your mind out, and then go right back. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Maybe enough of the creepy vibe to where she'll snuggle up on you that will then facilitate the making out.
Yeah, just
right?
a tiny bit. Just enough. And
maybe that is the secret of the Venom movie.
Yeah.
I saw it with the wrong people, guys.
There you go.
Yeah, yep, it should have been.
Guys.
No, Marcus.
Yeah.
This is
not. I kept looking over
this
you.
is not the snuggle up movie you thought it was.
Yeah. Let's scoot closer, guys.
I pulled the armrest down, thank you.
Did they have folding armrests at this one?
Yeah. Yeah, Stanley's like literally upgraded, huh?
Yeah.
And the walls don't have the big tears in them anymore.
right.
Well, they
That
do. They
theater-
just covered them.
Yeah, but at least it looks better than duct tape. Right, it was duct tape.
I was surprised. I sat down in the seat of the theater going, am I at Stanwood?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Is this where I'm
I
at
think
right
I think
now?
they're takeouts from another
bad.
theater though, because they have like 5 different properties. I think they updated one of their more better producing properties and brought the seats from that one.
Oh,
That's
that's
fine.
true.
I'll take it.
Oh, exactly.
I will
Yeah,
too.
way
But
better,
where
but-
did they put? Where was the other updated one? I want to see it in those seats for
Yeah, right, for comparison. Yeah.
and see what's going on.
I think
here.
anytime you go to a movie theater and you can instantly tell how crappy everything is, is not a good thing because it's always dark in the theater. Right?
Yeah,
And when
it's
it glares
supposed to
you in
hide the
face,
crappy
right?
stuff, and
Yeah.
you're looking right. Oh wow.
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
it's definitely making major strides in
Yes.
their quality improvement.
I'm so happy because, I mean, this is my hometown, right? It's supposed to be amazing. And I came back, we sat in the theater, what was that, 6 months ago or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, something like 6 months ago, and I was depressed. I'm going, this is my theater, guys. What's going on here?
Well, yeah, but we also remember when it was
Brand
when we were in high school.
new,
And,
and it was amazing.
You know,
Oh,
and then,
God. You remember Something to Do in Stanwood?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
right?
when there was something
and
to
they
do.
actually
in Stanley.
remember when they went through the whole Star Wars run again.
Yeah.
In Stanwood, and you got to be like sit like dead center, right? 'Cause
Yeah.
nobody went. It was awesome.
Right.
So if we score Stanwood Cinemas, do they score better than Venom?
Yes.
I think they're at least a better than okay.
They've come
Yeah.
up.
They were like okay before,
Yeah,
if
it's
not,
come up.
not a turd.
They're
Just-
not a turd, but they're
Yeah, but
close.
they kind of have a funk to them, right?
Yeah, I mean, they were borderline turd-ish.
Between
I think so,
3.5 and 4 is what it was.
And I think they've now ascended to a 6.
Easy.
better than
Oh,
okay.
They're
Yeah.
6.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
easy.
a big jump.
That is huge.
That's
That's almost double.
kudos
Yeah.
to the Stanwood theaters.
Slanja.
Okay, well, the other thing that we can talk about if you want, Jay,
All right.
because we do need to wrap up our anime.
We do.
we
We also
have
need to wrap up
finished it.
our show because we got to.
I know,
Another
because we
show
got a
to watch.
football game to watch, right? And that was our whole plan of shifting around our
know.
schedules, and look at it, it's catastrophe.
Yeah, work sucks.
I know.
Um,
That's what I said on our last show. I was like, yeah, Jay's not here because he's got a real job.
yeah.
Unlike being an artist, right? The loosest sense of the term of a job. Do you want to? Do we
Sure.
want to talk about Initial D? Should
We
just
can talk
do it?
about Initial D.
Okay, have you ever watched it, Gabe?
I don't even know what you're talking
It's
about.
an anime. I know we talked about a little bit last time
you
you
know
were
what
on.
anime
we
is,
talked
and
about
we're not
anime.
talking about tentacles.
Yeah,
Okay, not the
maybe
tentacles.
that's why you like Venom.
No, well, you know.
Yeah, Lady Venom came in and Gabe was like, I like where this is going.
Oh yeah.
Well, Initial D is an anime. Do you know about what year it came out?
Oh, I don't know, but
Since Jack's not here, you're gonna do Jack
I'm gonna
Jack Job.
Do Jack Job.
Do it.
Okay.
Magical
I'm
fact,
glad
Genie.
somebody is reliable.
Magical fact, Genie.
Yeah. It's a anime that is all about. Does it take place in Japan?
Yeah.
So it takes place in Japan, and they race cars. And the one is the Toyota.
1995.
Really? That's when season 1 came out?
Yeah, that was when it was serialized.
I'm a little bit surprised by that. I thought it was older than that.
No, 1995. But based on the fact that they were running the cars they were running, those were all mid 90s cars. So
Even the
well, no, the
Corolla.
Corolla, but remember the Corolla is an old piece of crap
Yeah.
in the show.
And so I'm going to let you describe the cars because you're going to have that better. What is Takami's car that he drives?
Oh, it's a AE86 Corolla.
Right?
Okay,
So you know what that is,
Toyota
right?
Corolla.
Your car guy.
Yes,
You know
yeah.
that?
Yeah.
Yep, basically.
And it's the Trueno, which means it's got the flippy headlights instead of the Levin, which has the fixed headlights.
Okay.
Yeah,
And it's hatchback.
Yep, a hatchback Toyota. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yep. And it's like, and basically he has this, this unnatural talent to just feel the car that he's in and be this awesome drifter.
It's a
Yeah.
good thing because it's a Toyota, and it's a hatchbacky Toyota. Now, did they do anything special to the car, or is it
Oh, yeah.
just a stock?
No, his dad built it for drift racing.
Oh, okay.
It was like his dad was the street king,
Yeah.
right? And
So-
then he
so-
basically just kind of silently went away
Yeah.
and started a tofu shop. And his son delivers the tofu, right? It's got so many cool Dragon Ball Z
Yeah.
kind of things in it. This I actually thought was super cool. I don't know how accurate this is or whatever, but it's kind of that Dragon Ball Z training. So the way he makes his son good at driving the car is he takes a cup of water and puts it in the cup holder and says, don't spill the water, but do it as quick as you can, right? So he's got to like drift the corners and keep the center of balance of the car level so the water won't slosh out of the cup. And I actually thought that was kind of cool. It's
Yeah.
like as he trains, he fills the cup up more and more and more, so he has less slop to do, right? I have no idea if that would do anything at all, but I liked
No.
the idea of it. I thought it was cool.
Yeah, the way the training.
The
goes,
concept
right?
is
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was really enjoyed that. When that first happened, that's the first thing that hooked me. That, aside from the end credit scene that I have talked about so much, it's the best live-action Japanese horrible music video in the world. It's so good. That was the first thing. But the very next thing that made me actually care about the show was when he did that. And I was like, oh, it's like training. I get it, right? And then more and more of those things start happening.
It's a straight-up battle manga, only it's just through car racing.
I loved it. I thought it was so good.
And it's the genius driver, the gifted guy.
Yeah, who's the idiot who doesn't know. He's totally Goku.
What? I'm good?
Yeah.
I didn't know I was good.
Yeah, but he's just good at it. Like the first time he goes to do the race, he's shocked that everybody thinks that he's so good at it because to him it's just what he does every day, right? His dad's been subtly,
and to be clear, he's been driving since he was 12 years old too.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and he's how old now? So since 12,
he's 16 or 17.
He's in high school.
Okay.
Yeah, he's got to be because by the end of it, he is basically graduated.
Yeah, he's graduating high school.
So it's probably your last 3 years of high school, something like that.
Okay, that makes sense. So training for 4 years. Yeah, pretty good.
Well, and it's the same road all the time, right?
But
he knows all these little tricks and ways to kick the car just right to get to go around.
And
I don't know how much those are accurate.
No, it kind of is.
And the whole thing about the car is that it's the underdog.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I mean, they're bringing out cars that are newer.
Oh, I get it.
And it's when they started out, they started out with all of the Japanese rear-wheel drive sports cars.
Mm-hmm.
So you had the
a lot of the Nissans and then
there's like a Nissan in there.
Well, the Skyline, which
Supra
was all-wheel drive, but they had the first
Supra.
No Supra.
No.
Oh.
Actually,
that's
well, no,
surprising.
that was another. That was the Celica, GT4 Celica.
Oh.
But the starts out with the FD RX-7.
Okay.
Which was the last.
Is that case?
Yeah, that was the yellow one. That was the last. That was actually the last RX-7 we got in the U.S., which is also a Dom's RX-7.
Huh. Yeah, the beautiful one. Yeah.
The red one that he's racing in the first.
Yeah.
Yep.
But
I like the way you make it relatable for me.
Yeah, that's an FD.
Anyway, think Fast and Furious. This specific one, this driver, got it. Seen those a million times. I know it.
Yep.
But and then then they have the FC, which is his older brother drives. Kisuke's older brother drives, which is the previous generation RX-7.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So then they race, and then between then he ends up going against a R34 Skyline, and then
the Lancers. Remember the Lancer gang?
Those were later. That's when he actually blows up the engine.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's the Lancer guys. The Lan Evo.
Yeah.
With the anti-lag system.
Oh
yeah.
Yep.
Which, and I kept asking Jay about these things. It was like, is this a real thing? Like, do they really do this, or is it just for the show?
Yeah, no,
which I get the feeling there's a lot of things that are done just for the show.
So everything they're talking about exists. Their application of it in the show is not always accurate.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
It's super dramatized and action effect, like whatever, because it's a show. But you can, like, theoretically, it's possible in the car world.
When they're talking about 2-foot braking and all that kind of stuff, which I was doing the other day, by the way.
Yeah, and I thought
he thought my car was automatically revving for the downshift.
Mm-hmm.
It was rev matching for the downshift.
And some do that, but they're a really nice car that will do that. And
So when he told you that the car didn't do that, were you impressed?
Yeah. Okay. I was like, oh, good, nice. I kind of.
Did you have any idea that he learned it from an anime?
No,
I did not learn it from an anime.
That wasn't. Yeah, no, but I was kind of depressed by that the car didn't do that automatic. I was hoping for the engineering of the car to match my ideal of it, thinking this car is amazing. And then Jeremiah said, "No, I'm doing that myself." I'm going, oh.
But then you didn't think, well, Jeremiah is amazing,
right?
Right? Like, come on, yeah. That's what I'm getting at here.
That was
you know how much practice
just,
that took to get that?
That was sort of just the obvious. I was just to know that anyway.
Oh, okay. Clearly.
Yeah.
I like.
It's just to know that. Yeah. That's just there. I don't have to even. Jeremiah's just damn good at
I
what he does.
apologize for stating the obvious.
Yeah,
I apologize.
Yeah.
I'm getting redder than the damn sign.
I like because I want to keep comparing it to Dragon Ball Z because it just really reminded me of that on so many notes. Keisuke is totally Vegeta.
Oh yeah,
right. Like he's the one that Takumi, who's the like natural born talent racer guy, doesn't know it. And then Keisuke, who's the one that comes from like the rich family.
Like, why do you not know how to be a real driver? You
and he's like insulted that he can just do it without knowing what, because he's trained his whole life to be this awesome racer, right? And he is basically the second best. But that is the definition of Goku Vegeta rivalry right there. One is a prince, right? Came from super royal bloodline and like just was destined to be the best. And here comes this guy who's a nobody, a grunt that is the best, and just has this natural innate ability to do it, right? And so that was totally that rivalry happening.
Yep.
And I even love the way the series ends with, I guess, spoiler alert, the way it ends with Keisuke on top.
Yeah.
Like, it does end with him. He's the one that wins the race against the other guys by the end of it all. I guess Takumi technically does, but it's a technicality, right? Keisuke legitimately wins.
Yes.
And it is a, I mean, as much of a nail-biter race as there are in this series, it is that. Like, it's an exhaustion race is what happens between them. They do, like, the,
what is it for
where
real?
you start with one guy in front and the other guy's behind, and you go to do the downhill or the uphill, right? And if you pass the guy, then he's automatically out and you win, right? Yeah, or you outrun him. But if you stay close at all, you just then have to switch positions and do the race again. And so if they race really close, they just did that over and over. It was like 10 or 15 runs they had to do before they act. And so by the end, their tires are getting worn out. They don't grip the same, and like they're getting sloppy with their driving. They have to not brake as much on the downhill.
Right.
And they're getting tired.
Yeah, they're getting tired from trying to control the car the whole time. And like, and I loved all that stuff. And I love how they really emphasized it in the show. Again, I got the feeling it was super dramatized.
Oh yeah,
but
and the more the series goes on, the more it gets that way.
Yeah,
I mean, earlier on, it was, I'm not going to say accurate, but it was a little more accurate.
Okay.
In what they were doing, and what they were talking about. But as it goes later, it just the theories and the stuff they're tossing out there is, yes, that's legitimate stuff that they're saying, not in the application that they're putting it there.
Okay.
Yeah, I even liked in that last race the way that Keisuke would let the guy get ahead of him and just like naturally slow down as opposed to using his brakes, because he wouldn't eat up his tires as much and let the other guy do that. So then on the next run, his tires were fresher and he could then get away, right? And like, I love the way they would mention all those things. That constantly happens through the whole show.
That's cool.
There's a lot of really cool like internal monologue stuff going on.
Wow.
Where it's like Venom, I guess, right? Where they're like, they're Eddie in the car talking to the symbiote car that they're driving.
They're totally talking about real racing stuff.
And a lot of it, they are,
could be applicable.
Yeah, and that's what I was getting with the 2-foot braking thing is. So what they were talking about with the 2-foot braking is in the front wheel drive racing classes and stuff.
Yep.
Controlling the car balance with the front wheel drive is you're using both the gas and the brake simultaneously sometimes to control forward backward balance on the car.
Yes.
So they were trying to get that across on the deal specifically for the Honda driver, the Civic driver, and their application.
Gum tape death match?
No, they wanted the yellow one.
Oh, okay, yeah,
and they're talking about that, and the concept that they're talking about is correct, but the way that they're talking about applying it in there is not correct at all, and you would stuff your car into the side of the. You would lose your front traction entirely. What you're doing.
Yeah. Oh, okay. You're throwing the weight to the back too much.
On a front-wheel drive car, your front tires are tasked with steering, power, brake, everything. Yep. All of it's done with the front. And the way they're doing it, they would be overloading one corner of the car way too much, and there's just no way to hold it.
So they're talking about the stuff they're talking about is for a rear-wheel drive car versus the front-wheel drive.
It could be used in the front-wheel drive car, and that's where this particular technique was developed.
Oh.
Was actually in a front-wheel drive racing league.
Just not where it was.
But just the way that they were applying it, you would not use it in that situation.
Oh, I see. Yeah, lots of movies do that. Try to confuse the watcher.
Yeah, well, lots of movies. Everything that has two wheels sounds like a Harley.
Yeah. The other moment, again, back to that, like, like understanding the car and that relationship with whatever was totally when the car went Super Saiyan.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Because it basically does when it gets its motor overhaul.
And that's actually a legitimate motor. That one was from the Racing League, which was a true racing league in Japan. Which used that, and that's actually out of like a 2000 something Toyota car. It's the 5-valve version of the 4AGE motor.
Oh,
but in Japan there was a option, like we can get the dealer options for our cars here, like the Performance Pack 2 on the Mustangs and whatever, and that the dealer puts it on and it makes it a bigger, more powerful car. Well, there was an option for the Corollas, for the AE86 Corollas at the time. You could have the dealer do it. I can't remember. It was expensive. The article that I was reading about it, but they rebuild and balance the engine, retune everything.
Is that the Type R?
No, it's not a Type R. This is Toyota's thing.
Okay, it's the Toyota.
Which Type R is an amazing thing. I'd love to talk about that, but I could talk a long time about that. I hate Hondas, but Type R is phenomenal in what they do.
Basically,
and the reason
kind of
that
the
they
same.
we won't get into that. But anyway, Toyota's thing.
Yeah.
Toyota's thing was, this is the dealer thing. They tear the engine down. They put a balanced rotating assembly in it and everything else. A new header, and then obviously update the head. But now you have an engine that will turn 11,000 RPM from the factory.
Yes.
And that was an option.
So you get to drool over that part, right?
Yeah.
I watch the show from the anime point of view, and I get to drool.
You get the blue halo.
Well, you get the blue halo on the car because now it's got this extra energy, right? Which is hilarious. It did make me chuckle, almost as good as the terrible Japanese video at the end. But I loved the part of where Takumi fight, because he doesn't really want anybody else's help. He doesn't want anybody else in his car. Like, he'll drive whatever other car in that, but he doesn't really take on guidance from anybody, right? Other than his dad.
He's just dense.
But when he gets the new motor, it's the first time he does that in the series, where he has one other guy ride with him. And because Takumi is such an idiot when it comes to how a car works, he just knows how to do it. He doesn't understand why he's doing it, right?
Okay.
Because they put that new motor in that revs up so high, Takumi will never rev it past what the old motor would rev to, right? So every time he would shift, he's bogged down, and he was like, it almost feels slower than it did. My dad said it's supposed to be awesome. I don't get it.
Because, it doesn't hit the power band of the engine.
Right, until between 7 to 11 versus 5, 6, and 7.
Exactly.
And so he was supposed to take it between 7 and 11 and then shift.
Yeah. Well, and the guy that rides with him, at first he's like also kind of baffled, and then right away he's like, oh, listen to the motor. It's not.
And pop the hood, and then he pops the hood and
revving.
looks at it and sees, oh, look, it has this, and this is, it's like, he right away realizes it's an actual racing engine.
Yeah, and then his co-rider guy, or the co-pilot basically during that run, is the one that educates him, and then it's that moment in the anime where he suddenly realizes he needs to care about the car and like how the car works, and from then on it's him growing to actually learn how the car works and why he can rev it higher and all that.
Right,
but I love that part of it.
Disadvantage.
It was so Dragon Ball Z for me. It really, really was. It's way less episodes. I almost think there's less filler episodes than Dragon Ball Z.
Oh, there's a lot less filler.
It's really pretty concise. His weird relationship with his girl, like his prostitute girlfriend,
yes.
That I don't know that she's actually sleeping with the dude, but he's buying her all sorts of things. And she's dating Takumi at the same time.
Yeah.
Right? And then she's just gone.
Well,
they don't really end that.
He flips out on her and sends her away.
Then it kind of ends.
You're right. And a relationship like that is strange for the States. But a relationship like that, I understand, is normal for Japanese and Asian people to have multiple partners. It is normal for that.
And basically like a trophy girlfriend?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why she's riding around with you?
Yeah.
It's also why
I don't know if it's that
What?
necessarily.
It's also why I wanted a Mercedes-Benz, by the way.
To have the trophy.
You'll get a hot Asian high school girl?
She hasn't been with me yet, though.
It hasn't worked out yet?
No.
All right, we'll keep trying.
Yeah, relationships.
Keep cruising the high school parking lot.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
I will not ride with you anymore. No, we will not do that.
I really, really enjoyed it. I think it has some harsh animation stuff in it.
Oh
but
my
it's
God,
fine.
the animation is so awful. And that's what you bitched about first and foremost when I loaned it to you.
Yeah.
You're like, this is awful. I can't watch this.
And really, I think the warm-up for me was the Mob Psycho. Because I really feel like they have a very similar kind of...
The early episodes of Mob Psycho were animated so bad.
Yeah, well, and this is terrible too.
Yeah.
But then I totally started getting sucked into the characters and the terrible 90s CGI car scenes and like... But I loved the relationship between him and the car, and then the banter that he built up with his like car crew that kind of developed too. Mm-hmm. I was a little disappointed to see his original crew just get left in the dust.
Yeah,
that was kind of sad. Kind of like the girlfriend thing. You just like they were so important up till a point, and then just.
But you got to realize too, though, that I forgot his name now. The guy,
goofball guy.
The goofball. No, not him. I hate him. He's the token annoying character that they have to have.
He's the Krillin.
Yes.
Yeah.
Except for I like Krillin. Anyway, the guy with the S13 that ends up wrecking it and then gets it fixed and then has that other weird girlfriend issue problem.
Oh yeah.
Him. He'd been driving for 3 years and had been racing for 3 years, and that was all the better he ever got.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's just he got left in the dust. They all did.
I mean, he was going to, but I mean, if that's all the better he was after 3 years of driving,
he's just a loser. Yeah.
Well, maybe that's what happened, right?
Yeah.
People hit their plateaus, and some people kept going, and some people didn't, right?
Yep.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. But I absolutely loved it. It is in the running for my favorite of our animes that we've watched on Nerdbuzz all year. It really is. I enjoyed all the characters.
I still think it's hilarious, though, that was like, you loan me your PlayStation. It's like, oh, let me loan you something that's special to me. And you're like, this sucked. I'm like,
and
now you're back here
I
all
wasn't
like...
ready for it.
No,
but
you
I
weren't.
absolutely love it. It's
That's
like,
horrible.
I come back to the Death Note thing, right? Where I also was not ready for a Death Note anime. I just wasn't.
Yeah.
But the doors of... something that isn't the super action based anime that I'm more accustomed to, which I'm also super picky about, right? They've like opened the door to these other ones.
Yeah.
Despite all of the similarities between this and DBZ, I really, really enjoyed it. Just as an anime in general, I love the characters in it. I love their development and their relationships with their cars, and like. I cared about it. I really did as I watched it more and more and more.
And how about that the kid, the Night Kids kid? I actually really grew to like him a lot.
The Night Kids kid,
the one that drove the black R34 Skyline. The second one to race Takumi.
Oh yeah. I liked him too.
Yeah, and like you hated him at first, and then
a lot of the characters did.
And then as you're following him later, it's like, dude, this guy's actually pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, and I think a lot of them did because they got their tough persona of the street racer.
Sure,
that you got to get over.
The alpha male stuff going on.
Yeah. My engine. So let's put a score on it.
I'm gonna give it 7.5.
7.5.
Yep.
I'm gonna give it. Man, I'm kind of right in there, but I'm gonna give it an 8 because it really surprised me. It really, really did. And come on, that end credit anime, like
the season 1 end credit scene.
They're all, but you get one in each season.
Yeah, I know.
They change, but season 1 is the best. It is the best, terrible, horrible Japanese like live action music video. While the scenes run and
I love how it's panning around that car while they're doing it.
Oh yeah, the car, like a real life version of the car's there, and they're like singing on it and whatever. It's so horribly awesome. It's so good.
I watched it once and went, that was pretty cool. I don't need to watch it again. And skipped it every time.
Kristen watched it every single time. Every single time I watched it, I'd never skipped that end credit scene once because it was so awesome. It's like something that's made in like the 95 version of like Microsoft Movie Editor.
Oh,
so it's got those crappy fades and like it's horrible, but it's so good. It's so good.
Okay.
Oh my god.
All right, let me write down our scores. I'm gonna give it an 8. Jay gives it a 7 for 5. And Venom we gave
all 5.
5, 5, and 5 across the board.
Yep.
So real quick, before we wrap up, I know we want to watch the game, but I think it's important to touch on. We finally got announced that I think by the end of this year, we will be able to change our PlayStation names.
Wow.
Right?
Did we say
How
that?
many years?
Did we say that like a year ago?
And I'm still tentatively saying it now because until it happens, I'm not going to totally...
PlayStation name?
Like your...
so it's your handle. So like
gamer, yeah.
Your gamer tag, PlayStation name.
Yeah. My classic is...
Change them.
You've been... Yeah, like when you go to play online, you'll see the guys, whatever their gamer name is, and it's like... like I love little boys 69 or something because somebody was an idiot when they were 12 and made their account. Now they're 25 because they've been playing video games that long, and it's like that's a horrible name to have, and Sony will not let you change it ever. I've seen just terrible names out there.
Can you create a whole new character with a different name?
You could do that, but then
really
you lose
annoying.
everything that you've
You have to
established
start
that's
all
locked
over.
to that other one.
Yeah.
It all gets locked to that PlayStation name.
Oh.
So you lose all the games you've bought, every single thing. So you're stuck as, Boner Guy 69
Yeah,
or whatever
that
your
would be
terrible
no
name is, right?
good.
It's just the way it is. But it's sounding more promising. Companies that make the games have said they've started coming out working on updates to facilitate that happening. So it sounds more legit than ever before.
Okay.
We'll see. I'm kind of excited about it. We'll see. Maybe I'll change my name too. Who knows?
Triple B would not be the best one to have.
Triple B?
Yeah, Monster Hunter.
Oh, yeah. The other news we got is Nintendo Switch is already going to come out with a new model.
Yeah, no, it's already outdated, man.
No, mine's classic. There's a difference.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I got the vintage model. It's 2 months old, dude.
I know.
That's terrible. Screw you, Nintendo. I'm so angry at them. The last thing that I wanted to ask you, and I thought about including this because you'd mentioned one of the last movies you thought you saw was Transformers. Right? Last night when we were talking, and maybe you just said that in passing, but Transformers came up. And so I again watched the new Bumblebee trailer. Have you watched it?
Not the new one.
There's a new one.
I have heard about
and
this.
I have to say, I am more excited about Transformers than I've been in a long time.
Really?
It shows Optimus in like the actual classic like semi-truck form.
Oh, nice.
It shows Starscream in the classic like gray
F-15?
Yeah, what is it? F-15, 14, something like that, right?
Yeah, no, it was the 15 because it wasn't the swept wings.
Yeah. So the F-15, it's got, but even like the purple trim on the edges with the red
sweet.
axe, like it looks like it's ripped right out of the 80s cartoon. Bumblebee is the bug from
Yes,
it. Like,
that's the biggest thing for me. It went back to the Beatles. Like, that was, dang it, that's what he is.
I know, and I hate that I'm actually kind of looking forward to seeing a little more of that movie now.
Well, this is the first one that Michael Bay's not tied to, isn't it?
I don't know. Maybe that's what it needed, right? If he is, it'll be awesome until like halfway through and they'll all blow up.
Yeah.
Right? All of our dreams will go up in smoke. We'll see. Well, I recommend it. Watch this new trailer. It will actually... You'll hate yourself for watching it because you might like it a little more.
I didn't think, in my mind, I didn't actually think that the Bumblebee movie was going to be any good at all. I was like, well, it's just somebody threw something together like the other movies. They had to make them just because.
Yeah.
But if this is going to be something that's for real, then I'll be there.
I'm the Vegeta Keisuke fan. Like, that's just who I am. Bakugo, right? Like, that's who I am. And so Starscream was my favorite.
Okay.
It just was from Transformers.
He's such a backstabber, though.
I know. He's so good. And his terrible, annoying voice. He was always out to overtake Megatron. Like, I just hated him, but I loved him. And when I saw him turn into the jet that looks almost exactly like the toy that I had as a kid, I was basically sold right then. I was like, wow, this is the Transformers I've been wanting to see, and it's in a goddamn Bumblebee movie. So I don't know, we'll see.
Yeah.
But should we wrap it up on that note?
Yeah, so what do you think of your beer?
I actually really like it.
So do I.
It's a little less Christmassy than the other Tripels I've had.
Yes, I like this one. I like this one a lot.
And it's maintained the crispness
yes,
that you mentioned.
Has. Yeah, it has, and it doesn't get like the sweet's there, but it doesn't like just keep growing as you're drinking.
No,
it's really good. I'm liking this one a lot.
Canada can do something right.
Oh my goodness!
They messed up bacon, but they nailed this beer. I didn't think you could mess up bacon.
Just ham.
Canada did it.
It's just ham.
So what do you think?
Burr. It is a good holiday beer.
I think holiday is a great word for it.
It
For being a 9%, also, it doesn't leave this overpowering alcohol flavor in your mouth.
No.
Like, not really at all.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
It's good. I like it.
And it doesn't feel like there's so much of that Christmassy spice in there that it's only there to cover up an alcohol flavor, right? Like, there's not like an excess of that either. I think they nailed it. I really enjoy it.
This is the time of year for this beer.
Yeah.
Like
I would also agree with
it's a
that.
seasonal, like a seasonal beer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
I'm gonna give it a solid 7 for me.
Really? I was expecting more than that. I'm going to also give this a solid 8. I'm in a good mood today.
All right.
Yeah. I really enjoyed it. I would totally buy this again.
As far as beers are concerned, it's a 9%, right? And then how much on the market was this? This is as far
nice.
as
Price factor. That's something we don't ever consider. Do you remember how much it was?
It was not cheap.
Okay, so
I'm
it's
gonna
in the
guess
not
at least
cheap
$10
range.
because it was a 4-pack.
Yes.
Okay, so it's in the not cheap range, and it's pretty good, and it's good enough. Flavor wise and everything's there for the not cheap range.
And it's plenty potent, so you're not gonna have to drink 12 of them.
Yeah, you're not.
Right? I think that's something that you can.
And the
I
flavor's
think that
good.
not cheap thing is the reason why it's got a 7.
For you?
Yeah.
Oh, it was that expensive? I didn't have to buy it, so I'm sticking with an 8.
No, I think it's worth the 10. It's worth the $10.
Did you pay more than $10 for it?
I don't remember.
No more than 12.
No, I didn't pay more than 12. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, but I feel like it's in the not cheap range.
No, it was not.
Yeah.
Of what you're getting here, I feel like I would go buy it again.
I do remember. I said it's been a while because we've had several episodes since when I purchased.
Yeah. Also, can I get a little pat on the back for not drinking this beer that's been in my fridge forever?
You have done that with the last several. I
want
really
you to know
proud
that
of
it's
you.
not easy for me to do.
You're doing well.
Yeah, sometimes I open the fridge and I'm like, I don't have any beer because I just block out the whole shelf that has Jeremiah beers on it, and I'm like, I don't have any beer.
They're Nerdbuzzed beers.
They're Nerdbuzzed beers, but he brought them for Nerdbuzz, so I try to just not mess with them and leave them on the shelf. But I like to drink beer, so it's hard.
I noticed. Yeah. No, I know that much
I
about
have another
you.
one in the car.
So
I have another one in the car that needs to go in there.
Awesome.
Yeah. No,
That's some self-restraint, huh?
Yeah, it's
Well,
pretty
this will
good.
be- this
You're
will
doing
be-
good, man.
I don't have a problem yet.
This one will be easier for you, though.
Why is that?
It's a lager.
wheat? Oh, lager. Yeah, I won't.
It's a lager. Yeah.
I won't do it. Then maybe that's the smart way around it. Just put wheat beers and lagers in Marcus's fridge, and he won't touch them.
Oh, and Hefeweizen's a wheat beer, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, well, you won't touch a Hefeweizen?
No, I got Hefs out there for you.
Really?
I want to watch the game. You gonna watch the game with us?
Yeah, well,
So, which we need to do, by the way.
Yeah, let's go do it.
One way or the other.
Thank you so much for watching. Please comment. Go
So,
to
you guys gonna score your beer?
nerdbuzz.com. Oh yeah, we gotta score it.
Oh, jeez.
You gave it an 8. You gave it an 8.
I did. So
But
you
we
gotta
didn't
score
hear.
yours.
9.
9. All right.
I'm gonna write it
7,
down
8,
before I
9.
forget.
It goes right up there with Hefeweizen for me.
8, 7,
And a 9.
9.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, you
I
really
would have
enjoyed
it again. Yes, I did.
Nice.
All right. Well, to all the nerds.
Through all the fuzz.
Bottoms up.
Let's get nerd buzzed. We should end it with "Let's get nerd sober," right?
Talking about beer, talking about
never
nerd
get nerd
culture. You're on Nerdbuzzed. Marcus and Jeremiah.
Again, I don't have a real
You're on Nerdbuzzed. Let's get Nerdbuzzed.
Yep, I would buy that again.